Resources Committee. We have a Human Resources Committee meeting scheduled this evening at 4:30 p.m. And I'll quick read the top of the notice here. Notice is hereby given a meeting of the Human Resources Committee to be held via remote video conferencing on Thursday, January 7th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. Public may listen to the meeting by calling 1-312-626-6799, meeting ID 890-7734-9603. It can also be viewed on the Wisconsin Rapids Community Media Spectrum Channel 985 and Solaris Channel 3, and also online and on the city's Facebook page. In attendance, we have myself, the chairperson, Thad Kubashek. We've got committee member Mr. Jay Bemke, and do we have Joe Zerflu? Do we have anybody sitting in for Joe Zerflu? So it looks like it's just committee members, myself and Mr. Bemke. Mr. Tom Rayom, city council member, is in the interweb joining us. Ms. City Attorney Susan Schill is with us. Mr. Ryan Hartman, our HR manager, is here, and Mr. Paul Vollert, Public Works, is also here. With that being said, meeting is called to order. Item number 1 was called to order, so we'll go on to item number 2. Discuss and consider a resolution, a requisition request for an aquatic building maintenance technician position at the aquatic facility. And Mr. Hartman, will you start us out with that?
Yes, thank you. Looking for a approval to hire a aquatic building maintenance technician position. And that position would basically work full-time in the maintenance capacity of the aquatic center during the summer months, and then would have other duties in the off-season. And Mr. Paul Vollert is here to speak in more detail on how that position would be laid out.
Go ahead, Paul.
Thanks. So as Mr. Hartman said, the main priority would be to work at the aquatics facility and then also the splash pad maintenance activities through the 6-7 months that it takes to get the splash pad operational. And then in review of building maintenance activities that need to go on, he would work to assist the current building maintenance tech doing those maintenance activities in the off season and or other activities that we have that come out of the garage. But his main priority would be to provide the maintenance of the different pumps and filtering systems and things like that at the aquatics facility.
Thank you, Mr. Vollert. And there was there something in that job description we were just discussing about the CDL requirement?
Yeah, so in the job description, currently it says possess a valid Class D driver's license in good standing is required. And we'd like to change that to possess a valid CDL Class B with air brakes. Just allows that person to be a little bit more diverse for our work group. Currently, 99% of our employees all have Class A or CDL license, so that we can put them into any of our vehicles that we need to if it's for a snow emergency or whatever. So it would be more beneficial to have that.
Okay, thank you. Any committee members? Mr. Bemke, do you got any questions, concerns about this particular agenda item? Anybody out in the interweb space? Mr. Rayom or Ms. Schill?
No. Not right now. No.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, are you online too? Do you have any questions, concerns?
Nope, I'm good. This position, or there is money allocated through the budget for it. So now we're just coming forward with the actual position this time.
Thank you. With that said, I will make a motion for approval, including the change to the printed job description as we see to include the requirement for a Class B CDL with air brakes. Motion on the floor by Kubaschak, second by Bemke for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 2-0. We will move on to item number 3, discuss and consider approval of the submission of a request for proposal for a city employee wage study. Mr. Hartman, will you lead us off?
Yes, thank you. We've been in the process of developing a request for proposal to send out to continue the proceedings of doing a citywide wage study. So just looking, seeking the approval to continue moving forth on working on those proposals and getting those submitted out to the appropriate parties.
Committee members, Mr. Bemke, do you have any questions, concerns?
No, I do not.
Anybody, and we'll start with Mr. Rayom. Mr. Rayom, do you got any questions, concerns on this agenda item?
No.
Mr. Mayor, do you have anything?
I do not.
Ms. Schill, do you have anything?
I do not.
With that being said, then I'll make a motion for approval to take this to the next step then.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Kubaschak.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yes. Oh, Mr.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get dialed in time. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely. Let the minutes show that Mr. Joe Zerflu is now in attendance, committee member of the HR committee here. Mr. Zerflu, do you have anything for this agenda item that we're discussing right now? Is number 3, discuss and consider for approval the submission of a request for a proposal for a city employee wage study.
I do not. Thank you.
And just to give you an opportunity, the only other agenda item here was discuss and consider a requisition request for an aquatic building maintenance technician position at the aquatic facility. Do you have, we made a motion and second for approval to go ahead and post the job posting for this. Did you have any questions, concerns on this particular issue either?
No, I didn't. And I did hear the discussion. I called into the different route, but no.
Wonderful, thank you. Did we for item, we're on item number 3 here for the wage study. There was a motion on the floor by Kubaschak, second by Bemke. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it, 3-0. We'll move on to item number 4, HR department update. And Mr. Hartman, if you'd take it from there.
Thank you. First off, again, thank you to the HR committee, the city council, and the mayor, again, for the COVID emergency leave extension. On behalf of, again, myself and all the employees at the city, I've had numerous employees ask me to relay that thank you that was extended at the end of 2020. So just putting that out there, and again, thanking you. Regarding the COVID leaves, they have started to trend down a little, but we are still seeing COVID leaves on a regular basis, so that extension is coming in very valuable at this time. The vaccine itself is becoming somewhat of a hot topic, and right now, just for transparency's sake and to give an update, the vaccine information that we've been receiving from insurance sides and just public health information, right now I think our thought is, and again, not set in stone, but just getting it out there information-wise, is that once the vaccine is available, the city's stance may more so be along the lines of encourage but not require. As far as, you know, what would the city do in regards to vaccines, because there's questions out there on, is it going to be mandated? Do you have to? Is it optional? So on and so forth. And right now, the kind of the standard out in the industry is encourage but not require. Moving on.
Okay, question?
Oh, absolutely.
So, have we had anybody get shots? Have we had anybody get shots? Do we have access to shots yet? And where are we at with that? And then I guess one more thing before after these shots are made available, are we gonna more than likely review our policy again? Or should we review our policy again?
Yeah, great questions. I am not aware of anybody that has received any of the vaccines at this point, but I could be mistaken. But I'm not aware of anybody that's had the ability to have that as of yet. In discussions, yes, once it is available to everyone, our thought is to relook at the current, the emergency leave policy, look at that almost immediately. Yep, and reevaluate it at that time.
Good, thank
Yep.
you.
Next, for the department update, for the Department of Public Works, just to update on, starting on Monday, January 11th, there will be a new sewer construction group lead starting. We are excited to have the person join us. That is due to a upcoming retirement as we move closer to spring. So that employee will be joining us on Monday, January 11th. Street supervisor has been hired, and they also will be starting on January 11th. That was a vacancy that was a position that was posted and filled from within internally. So that's good. And we are also looking at some potential or possible retirements coming forward in 2021. So just again, our thought in working in constant communication with DPW is to look to have kind of a succession plan in place and looking to fill and replace those critical positions before the positions become vacant, if possible. And lastly, on my part of the agenda, regarding the finance department, we had a position posted. It was a new position, or it is a new position for the assistant director of finance. As it stands today, we have finished our interviews for that position, and we hope to have an offer out soon, as we are just waiting on a couple of reference callbacks, and we'll be able to move forward with that. So a lot of good things happening, in the HR side of things, coming out of different departments. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hartman. Committee members, Mr. Bemke, do you got any questions, concerns for the HR manager? Mr. Rayom, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Mr. Zerflu?
I do not.
Mr. Mayor?
I do not, Mr. Kubiszak. Thank you.
And I assume the City Attorney, Ms. Schill, you don't have anything?
No, I don't. Thank you.
With that being said, the last item on the agenda is adjournment, and I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
We got a motion on the floor by Mr. Bemke, second by Mr. Zerflu for adjournment. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 3-0, and meeting will adjourn at 4:45 p.m. Thank you very much.